I love Janet Jackson. But the way she carried herself, like you'd bring her home to mom. You know what I mean? She's wholesome, but still, man. Then she did those black and white videos with like Love Will Never Do Without You with the black. Oh man, she was sexy with that little bikini thing and her hair. Classy, beautiful, right? And now you get wet ass pussy, right? And you get all this obvious shit thrown in your face. Like, really, we need to know that we're gonna get laid. You got to throw it in the song, like, and say it 100 times. My wet ass pussy. You got to remind us. We don't know. There's no mystery, you know. There used to be mystery. You'd see Janet all nice and sexy. It gave you some mystery. She didn't just give it, well, except for that one Super Bowl. But even that, you got a second of her nipple, and that was it. She was clothed fully. We were missing the mystery. I think we know too much about all these people, you know. Now listen, we all have favorites. We all got things we love. You know, I'm a big basketball fan. Jordan's my guy, you know, and I used to say, "Who's my god?" You know, but man, we got to get away from this worshiping. Okay, it's people do. You see it in the comments, and there's even YouTubers that are getting just listen. I'm not throwing shade, but you don't worship any other human being ever, and that's really the height it's got to. I mean, people are nuts over their favorite YouTuber, their favorite TikToker, their favorite, whatever, basketball player, entertainer, actor, whatever, you name it. But I feel like I think it's maybe because there's an easier reach, maybe, to the actual artist. It's just driving me crazy. And then on top of it, like the people who get the most credit, like it seems like I I can't believe the adoration that they're shown. It's just, it's insane. You know, back in the day, here we go back in the day. Now you can see I'm wearing a Bo Jackson jersey. That was a man you could really respect. You know, like I used to go nuts, you know, for all his, the baseball cards and always try to watch his games and, always trying to be like Bo Jackson when we played baseball, my buddies. And then he played football. Obviously, was amazing, top level at both. You know, we never seen anything like Bo Jackson. But man, you never heard anything about him in the news. You never heard any kind of scandal. The guy was such a stand-up. He got all the respect from all the people in the bullpen and on the sidelines, NFL sidelines. Even guys like George Brett. You know what I mean? I mean that's major respect. And his first at bat was a home run. I mean, the guy was a monster. And I wore this jersey on purposely. I was kind of going through what do I want to wear, and I said, man, Bo Jackson, that's perfect because he epitomizes like, and did we worship him? I mean, I guess you could say that, yeah. I mean, in a way, but I don't think we looked at it back in the '80s and '90s like we do now. Like, and maybe it's the money that's gotten out of hand. I think it's just an instant attention, you know. But the fans and some of the people that get worship. Now, listen, this may be hard for some of you. Hopefully, not if you're watching this channel, which is not a medical channel, by the way. I don't know who's watching this, but Taylor Swift, okay? Is she talented? Yes. Is she beautiful? Yes, she's beautiful. Come on, even if it's not your type. I am not a blonde guy at all, but she's a beauty. She's gorgeous. But do you think that she's sitting at the piano writing all these songs? I mean, she might actually, she's fairly talented, but the stuff that gets taken is the stuff that's from the formula. There are 13 writers behind her, and everything is formulated and tested and scientific. So no matter if it's Taylor Swift or, uh, Courtney Johnson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that's also blonde and an up and coming singer songwriter and beautiful and blonde and is willing to go to Hollywood and willing to do the rituals and willing to do all the things that are necessary. Anyone could be in that spot, and that's the point. It's there used to be artists that actually wrote the song and performed it. Maybe they weren't a 9 or a 10 looking, but it was the actual artist. You know what I mean? It was about the song that hits you. You know what I mean? I was listening to some Janet Jackson videos before I did this video. I mean, that's a woman, man. You know what I mean? And granted, she didn't write all her stuff too. I get it. She had Jimmy Jam. She had a lot of help. But it's even the delivery, the way that they carry, the way Janet Jackson used to carry herself. She was so sexy and always had different looks, even when she was a little heavier. I love Janet Jackson. but the way she carried herself, like you'd bring her home to mom. You know what I mean? She's wholesome, but still, man. Then she did those black and white videos with like Love Will Never Do Without You with the black. Oh man, she was sexy with that little bikini thing and her hair up. Classy, beautiful, right? And now you get wet ass pussy, right? And you get all this obvious shit thrown in your face. Like, really, we need to know that we're gonna get laid. You got to throw it in the song, like, and say it 100 times. My wet ass pussy. You got to remind us. We don't know. There's no mystery, you know. There used to be mystery. You'd see Janet all nice and sexy. It gave you some mystery. She didn't just give it, well, except for that one Super Bowl. But even that, you got a second of her nipple, and that was it. She was clothed fully. We were missing the mystery. I think we know too much about all these people, you know. And you know, and we all make mistakes. People go through, you know. I don't know how to say this. I like the Foo Fighters, okay? And don't hate me. I do like them, but I think vastly overrated and overhyped. I mean, if people treat him like he's Paul McCartney, okay? And I'm not saying the guy ain't talented. I'm not saying he can't write songs, but they're all like, I swear, they all sound the same. Um, check out Pat Finnerty. It's Pat Finnerty. Check out his YouTube channel. He'll explain it better than me, but the worship for that guy is crazy. And I'm not saying he's not great, but it's just bizarre because I don't think that warrants that type of crazy reaction where people are crying and got to get to the stage to see Dave Grohl. Really? Again, he's not, and he, you know, who am I? If Foo Fighters called today, I'm a hypocrite. I could take that Shifties. I could take his spot. But anyways, you know, you don't need to worship these people. You know, they're people. LeBron James, holy shit, man! If you're worshiping LeBron James, you're beyond help. You know, if that's your guy in life, I was just talking in my last video too. It's not hard to be a good guy. It's really, really not. And you don't have to be some goody guy that gets stepped all over. You know what I mean? But to be a respectable man and do the right thing and not throw towels at people and shake down Stephen A. Smith and all this. I mean, the guy he's flopping all the friggin' time. He's the reason I don't watch basketball. He ruined basketball for me. And I got other things to do, you know, but I do miss it. And I'll probably watch once the Lakers get knocked out. You know, you just look at these guys like these aren't people you want to emulate. When we used to see Jordan in the nice suit and the composed, he always was respectful with the interviewer and gave a good answer and didn't throw his teammates under the bus and didn't, you know, wasn't always about me, me, me. It's so repulsive. Like you got to be able to see this stuff. I can't believe like and all the kids emulate it, and you can see the young men, man, they want to be that guy. They want to just be a jerk and throw their weight around, and they think that's being a good, respected man. And people who and respectable men are laughing at you. You know, like you have no awareness or you have no self awareness. So, anyways, getting back to these celebrities, yeah, look at LeBron James. You know, it's like I used to like him when he was in the league, but when you do so many awful things in the Olympics, that kid came to get a 14-year-old kid come to get an autograph, and he freaked out. Hey, man, what do you do? Like, who does that? Who does that? And this isn't nitpicking. You know, this isn't some old guy nitpicking. This is like these are terrible people. Dave Grohl. I mean, well, and we had some thing with his wife recently. He was not faithful. You know, that's what I mean. Like these aren't really the. Not that anyone's perfect. You know, we all do make mistakes. I'm not saying David Grohl is the worst person. David Grohl. Oh, I said David. I'm trying to think who else was on my mind. All these NBA players, man, they're just such assholes, such raging, angry, zero respect for the guys before them that gave them the whole. They wouldn't be making that money if it wasn't for the Magic Johnsons. We know this. This is common. This is common knowledge here. But these guys are getting worshipped, you know, and then the past they're getting stepped on, and like there's no, we're losing all that, you know, when that manliness and that it's not the right word for it. That integrity. We used to have integrity. You know, not all our stars. I mean, Motley Crue, you know, they're dangerous. You know, they're still going. I'm not saying, you know, we all had in the 80s and 90s had its share of bad examples. You know, I'm not saying everything's perfect, but man, I miss those gems. I bring up Janet Jackson. That's the one I always think about. Even Michael, obviously, the class. He wasn't out doing crazy. You know what I mean? Well, another bad example. Um, well, you get my point. We're worshiping the wrong. We're idolizing the wrong people. Idolize the people in your world and in your circle, and you see them every day. It could be a parent, it could be a coworker, it could be a friend. Hopefully, you surround yourself with great people, and let those idolize those, respect those people. Those are the people that are actually you're learning from the most. You're never going to meet these people, and when you do meet them, and it's, what's crazy is the worship is so crazy over like a Taylor Swift or LeBron James. Their fans get shit on, and they still don't care. They still, oh well, it's always this. Oh, he's just having a bad day. Oh no, he was cool. He was just. It's sad. Give yourself respect. You know what I mean? Idolize yourself. Try to make yourself think of that person that you would be like, wow, man, like that dude's the coolest. Think about what that really means to you. Write it down, even all the qualities, and become that. You can actually do these things, even in your 40s for the older people out there. I'm telling you, man, I'm 40. I just turned 46 Monday. And I'm not like, I mean, yeah, I had a little bit of my mind wandered for a minute. But I'm like, nah, man, I'm 46. I got a brand new pacemaker. I've been working out. I've been feeling great, eating great. The sun's out. I'm in Buffalo, New York here. So the sun's finally out. Um, so that's nice. I'm outside hooping and cutting the grass and doing all that stuff. But don't idolize this garbage, man. Even I love Michael Jordan to death. But even him, he's a human being. Yes, he had talent, but he also got cut from his high school team. So he had to cultivate that talent. It's the work, it's what he put into it, it's how he practiced, it's how he trained. Some people train for a long time, they do in practice, but they do the wrong things. They have the wrong shooting motion, or they may have the wrong whatever. It's all those things go into account. And the number one thing is it's the mind. It always starts with the mind. You know what I mean? That's why there's always weak minds, because when your emotions just react, like all these stars, they get crazy and they wild out. It's like because they can't control their own self, their own emotion. They have zero ownership over themselves. So don't worship these people. If you're gonna worship somebody, you gotta idolize somebody really worth idolizing, and idolize somebody in your own circle, in your own, if you're a musician, there's guys around you or bandmates or people in town that you're, really respect, learn from those people. You know what I mean? If you're whatever you do, if you're a business, some kind of business entrepreneur, if you're a bar owner, you want to be a bar or a club owner, and some guy that, what your uncle does, or a friend of whoever it is that like, man, I'd like to be like him. Hang around those people. Those are the people that are going to make you somebody. Be yourself. Don't forget about yourself. All right. See you soon. Did that even get you, son of a bitch?